Welcome to this video on how to overcome worry. I often think, what are we worrying about every day of our lives? Our businesses, my work, my boss, my spouse, what will happen to my children, COVID-19, health, wealth, income when we're getting older, our employees with low productivity. And I wonder, on average, how many hours do we actually waste every year in a lifetime on worry? So I did a small calculation. If we worry 10 minutes, 6 times a day, more or less 1 hour a day, we calculate an average hour of active 12 hours per day over a lifespan of 85 years. We can actually gain an extra 7 years if we can stop worrying. Isn't that fantastic? So keep on listening to my video and I hope you enjoy it. If you really think about it, when we worry about things in the future. Worry always includes an absence of real current danger. It is mostly overestimated and exaggerated, and it imagines the negative end results. Let's take an example in my own life. About 15 years ago, I had to close a business, a restaurant of all things. I constantly worried before that closure that I would lose everything, starting with a lawsuit after I leave the premises, ending into bankruptcy. If that happens, I will be losing my family. I will lose my house. And that obviously resulted into a very short temper. And then one day I had a long chat with my wife and she came to the rescue, saying that she will always stick to me and we will survive as a family. And this is really when I realized I'm overestimating this negative trap in my own life. So I had to stop and then realize that at that point in time, in that specific moment, we still had food. I had 2 cars, I had my house, I even had a dog. So we constantly worry about 80% of the things, 85% of the things that never happen. The 10% that does actually happen, we can't do anything about it. The 10% that we can do something about it, well, that is where we need an action plan to continue to work and resolve that issue. The question is really, can we change? Can people change their own worries? Obviously, the first question is, can we change behavior using our mind? Now, I'm going to play a game in this square just next to me where you're going to meet Albert Einstein. The first time when you meet him, it's going to be colorful and you would immediately realize that this is a 3D figure. And then I'm going to change your mind. If I do get it right to change your mind, we are all convinced that change is possible. So let's start this game. Right, there's Albert. Definitely a 3D figure. So as this, there's something else. The 3D is actually the gray model of Einstein. And now we've changed our minds and we've noticed that the colorful Einstein is actually a mold. There it goes. And now we're moving him up and down. And it's as if Einstein is now moving his own head, obviously the image thereof. Now look at the stage where he's turning it from left to right. It almost looked as if Einstein is following you. He's checking up on you, whether you are actually listening to the video or not. So what happened in this process? Obviously, you realized that Einstein is not a 3D pop-up, and you changed your mind. The moment you received more information, you were able to stop and change your mind. Now this might be a very simple exercise to prove my point, and I bet you in real life it's not that easy. but it is possible to change your worries. It's obviously going to take 21 days or more, and repetitive rethinking of your own mindset. And once you win that, overcome that first initial worry, the next one will pop up. And therefore we live in a journey. Life is not an event. It is a long journey, and a journey of change constantly. Going back to the restaurant example in my own life 15 years ago, when that whole process started, when I had to decide to close shop and get out of my agreement with the landlord, it was a terrifying experience. What happened in the mind? If you really think about it, that experience now triggers billions of neuron cells. All that information is sent through the thalamus, and that acts as a relay center. That information is sent to the hippocampus. Now, what the hippocampus basically does, it collects previous information and experiences, and then that combines with the current situation. So let's say in my case, I was in grade 8, and my teacher really got at me when I scored poorly in my science class, and the other kids obviously laughed at this, and that negative thoughts now combined with this whole experience in the restaurant, then that information is sent to the amygdala that links and interprets the emotions around it, as in this case fear and sadness, and that information is sent to the hypothalamus, and that regulates the hormone adrenaline in this case. The pituitary gland now secretes that adrenaline via the adrenaline glands, and that process all happens on a blink, and it's automatic. So I have to take control of this negative situation about worry, because this adrenaline will keep me awake for the whole night. So I've got to use that next phase and that next stage, that's the new cortex, command central, to stop those negative thoughts. Right, just to summarize this thinking pattern that I've just explained, and we go back to that neuron cell, and if you follow my laser, this is the neuron cell, and we look at the synapse in that area, and then the axon in that area. So what happens with high levels over a long time of adrenaline? It basically inhibits the transmitters, the neurotransmitters, to be received by the receptors in that area, and then you get a breakdown of information. And obviously what happens over a very long period, the body temperature increases, sweat starts happening, high cortisol level causes more insomnia, heartbeat increases, you feel worried and restless, and that triggers more depression or anxiety. You are easily irritated by other people, and you lose your temper just like that, and the brain's ability to think clear is basically inhibited, and that is a very risky situation, and we need to take immediate control when we identify these red flags. And that is basically what I had to do with that conversation between myself and my wife. The moment we become aware of these negative emotions and red flags in our body, we need to activate the new cortex. That is the control center, as you can see in that picture. So the new cortex is like any part of the brain. The more you use it, the better and stronger it becomes. How do you activate this control center? Very easy. You just say to yourself, stop with these negative thoughts. Walk away from that problem. Try to basically get rid of that trigger. Write your thoughts, look at them, but most importantly, register for our coaching program. It will certainly help you, and we've helped a lot of people in the coaching process. If you think and stand back about worries, it is defined as the absence of real, present and clear danger. It doesn't exist. Currently, there's no danger. Right, so you were able to stop using the new cortex, And now the question is, we have to reframe your mind. But the mind just cannot stop all these galloping of negative thoughts. So I use the ABC model as a structure to help me in the process to take control. So let me quickly explain to you. A stands for activator. In this case, it was my restaurant and a failure. B is your brain and your recognition and your perception. And C is to check and take control, to check and change. So in this case, A, the activator, that business failure. B, the brain. The brain consists of two specific areas. Either you have automatic negative thoughts or you have alternative new thoughts. To get alternative new thoughts, you have to stop and rethink them. So in the next slide, I'm going to use my discussion to explain to you that process of reasoning that takes place in the mind to change it from the negative, automatic negative, to the alternative new thoughts. Then once you've done that, you test it, and then obviously from there you have to change through an action plan, a constant checking and changing and implementation. I'm now going to give you the reasoning process in my mind, moving from automatic negative thoughts to alternative new thoughts. And I'm going to give you 4 examples of this new reprogramming process. The first thing I had was feeling incompetent. After this restaurant failure, I had to make a list of my skills, 10-15 years experience prior to that, and success stories that I had. I am not incompetent. Yes, in that one situation, I felt a bit incompetent because of many factors. The second one, what other people would think and say. Obviously, I had to overcome those negative thoughts from other people. And I was the only person with my family that had the complete set of information. So nobody could ever make a decision and say it's because of poor business practices that this was a failure. And once you understand the full picture, then you could only say this person was a failure in that specific point of view. The third one, feeling useless and feeling like a failure. If you really think about it, it doesn't matter what people say. Even if you did fail, what does it really mind what other people says? It's what you think and what you believe that is most importantly. And then lastly, I felt scared that I'm going to lose everything. And the moment I realized that I'm not losing everything, and I made a list of things that I won't be able to lose, I realized that this definition of losing everything, that is my core root problem. And the moment, even if I do lose everything, I would not lose things that's close to me. Now, these thoughts take 21 days to change over a long period. And if you don't change them, the next one will pop up. And this journey will continue throughout your whole life to pump new energy and life into your system. That's what we are here for. Good. To summarize my thoughts, completing my ABC model, very important to look at this objectively. Let's go through to the automatic negative thoughts. I wrote them down as they occurred in my mind. And next to each one, I gave you an alternative new thoughts. So from feeling incompetent to, I have many other skills, good experience, deep understanding of business, to, other people might say I'm a failure. But you know what? This was only a financial failure, this business. I've learned so many other things about life and business in general that it was actually a success. All my businesses will be a failure. No, that is business. To fail and start and restart again, that is life. I will lose everything. And I cannot sleep at night. I haven't lost the most important things in my life. I've lost all my savings. What will happen to us? Yes, okay, I've lost my savings, but I still have 20, 30 years to restart new businesses, and that is exactly what happened. So I've lost my savings, but I still have assets. I can still restart. Good, so those two sets now need to be tested against which of these sets give me joy, give me long-term results, give me hope, improve relationships, peace, and aligns with my vision. Once I've made that test, I can decide which one is the best, and obviously your alternative new set thoughts will be the best ones. And then I need to put an action plan together. I need to make something within a specific time frame to resolve this new business venture. And that process really gave me some structure to overcome my worries. The whole process of stop worrying is a life journey. It's not an event, because the moment one issue is resolved, the next one will pop up, and therefore you need a coaching program. The coaching program, just to summarize, will start off with your strengths and unknown areas to develop and improve. From there it will move to the mindset process. That is partly some of the video topics that we just covered, and that will move towards your goals and your vision, following a process of priority action plans, and then we will end up with an influencing model to help you to get that team together, improve that relationships that will help you in the future as well. I want to thank you very much for listening to my video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in the coaching, send me an email, and you can also leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Thanks very much, and I hope to see you soon.